Hey, boys and girls. Today we are going to read the story If You Take a Mouse to School by Laura Numroth and illustrated by Felicia Bond. Does anybody know what an author does? You're right. An author writes the words. Who can tell me, what does the illustrator do? You're right. The illustrator of a book draws the pictures. Boys and girls, when we are listening for this book today, I want you to be listening for two important words that we are going to talk about. The first word that you're going to be listening for is the word experiment. Say that with me. Experiment. How many syllables does the word experiment have? Let's see. Experiment. Is that 4? Oh my goodness, let's do it again. Experiment. You boys and girls need to be listening for a 4-syllable word, experiment. The next word that you're going to be listening for, boys and girls, is this word. Tuck. You're right. Say that word with me. Tuck. Let's say it 3 times. Tuck, tuck, tuck. So you guys are going to be listening for the words experiment and the word tuck. All right. If you take a mouse to school, if you take a mouse to school, he'll ask you for your lunchbox. When you give him your lunchbox, he'll want a sandwich. And a snack for later. Then he'll need a notebook and some pencils. He'll probably want to share your backpack too. When you get to school, he'll put things in your locker and take a look around. Do you guys see him? He's right here looking around. He might do a little math and spell a word or two. He'll even try a science experiment. You heard a word? Which word did you hear? You heard the word experiment. You're right. I heard that word too. Thank you for listening for the word experiment. I'm going to read you the sentence again and show you the picture. It says, he'll even try a science experiment. Now I want you to think about what this picture looks like and this sentence. And I want you to see if you can figure out, what does the word experiment mean? He'll even try a science experiment. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think. All right. Who wants to share? Wow, I'm hearing some really, really, really great answers. Thank you. You're right. An experiment, boys and girls, is to try something so you can find out information. Okay? So he's trying something to find out information. And in science, we do a lot of experiments. Scientists are always trying to find out new information. The painter will experiment to find the right color. Boys and girls, in art, have you guys ever mixed paint to make a new color? You experiment with the paint colors to see what kind you get when you're painting an art. I want you to touch your nose. If this is something you should experiment with, a fire. Good job. I'm glad nobody touched their nose. Paint. You can experiment with paint. Medicine. We never experiment with medicine. You're right. Medicine is very dangerous. Only adults that we trust give us medicine. What about Legos? You're right. You can try something new with Legos to find out information if you want. You can experiment with them. Very good. You know what I like to do a lot of experiments with, boys and girls? And it's about to be that season of fall. Apples and pumpkins. I love doing experiments with apples and pumpkins, boys and girls. It's so much fun. You can learn so many cool things from that. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for listening, guys. You guys are doing awesome. Okay, so we know the word experiment means to try something to figure out new information. Now, let's figure out, what does the word tuck mean? Then he'll need to wash up. You'll have to take him to the bathroom. Once he's nice and clean, he'll be ready for his lunch. On the way to the lunchroom, he'll see some building blocks. He'll build a little mouse house. That looks like fun. And make some furniture out of clay. Then he'll need some books for his bookshelf. He'll start by writing one of his own. So he'll need a lot of paper. He'll probably use up all your pencils. When he's finished, he'll want to read his book to you. Then he'll want to take it home. So he'll put it in your lunchbox and tuck it in a safe place. You heard a word? You did. You heard the word tuck. Great listening, boys and girls. Let me read this sentence to you again. Then he'll want to take it home, so he'll put it in your lunchbox and tuck it in a safe place. So then he'll want to take it home, so he'll put it in your lunchbox and tuck it in a safe place. I'm going to give you a minute or just a little bit to think about what on earth does that word tuck mean? All right, who wants to share? Wow, thank you for sharing. You are right. That is a great example. So, what I just heard, boys and girls, is that tuck means to put in a small place or to cover up. I had someone just say, "My mom tucks me in bed every night." Raise your hand if your mom puts you in bed or your dad and they put the blankets on top of you to cover you up and they tuck you in, they cover you up with your blankets. Awesome. So to tuck is to put in a small space or to cover up, like when you tuck in, when you get tucked into bed. Okay? Boys and girls, sometimes I like to take my pen and tuck it behind my ear because when I'm working, so I'll always know where it is because I always set it down. Sometimes I tuck it behind my ear so it's there. Okay, I want you to wiggle your fingers if this is something that you can tuck. Your shirt. You can tuck your shirt in. Yeah, to cover up, get your shirt and you can tuck it in your pants. Awesome. What about a car? That might be kind of hard because it's bigger, right? What about a present? Yep. What about your lost tooth? You lose a tooth, can you put it in a small space to keep it safe? You can. That's why the nurse gives you that cute little container when you lose a tooth to put it in. I'm not sure if any of you lost any teeth last year or not, but if you did, you got to visit the nurse and you could tuck your tooth in that little bitty box. And those little bitty boxes that you tuck your tooth in, they're actually necklaces and are super cool. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for listening so well today. Are you guys ready to finish our story? Okay. When the bell rings, he'll run out to wait for the bus. While he's waiting, he'll play a quick game of soccer. Then he'll ask you to shoot a few baskets. And do a little skateboarding. When he stops to catch his breath, he'll want to eat his snack. So he'll ask you for your lunchbox. And chances are, oh goodness, if he asks you for your lunchbox, you'll have to take him back to school. All right, guys. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.